I know I am. How about you guys? We'd love to hear from you in the chat how you're doing.
All right. So, all right. Took me a minute. We had some technical challenges there with our live, but that's one of the challenges with doing a live
It's
stream.
live. Anything can happen.
Sometimes there's just challenges that you run into, and you made one little mistake, and now everything's out of balance. But we got it. So praise the Lord, we got it. So anyway, I'm glad you're here with us tonight with our June writing challenge. This is our fourth and final live Write With Me in June, right?
Yes. Yes. And we have yes, we've done this.
So we may do some more in the future. If that's something that you've benefited from and interested in, please let us know, because we're always just looking for ways to be a benefit to you and to help you, as well as communicate, get to know you, interact. We are working towards building a writing group that maybe you want to be part of. If you want to be part of that, you can go over to smuinmedia.com and join us there. You can sign up for our newsletter and keep informed about lots of stuff that isn't on YouTube. And so
I don't know about anybody else, but I really enjoyed doing these lives in June and getting to visit with people and get to know people. It's been great.
Yes, has been great. Coffee, create, and connect. All right. So you are working on revisions right now. You won't be able to stay the whole time. That's okay. But we'll see how far we can get there. Thanks for
Joining us.
Letting us know where you're at and what's going on. So tonight, we are talking on what, Angie?
We're talking about revising.
Revising.
So last week we talked about editing, and revising it's a part of editing, but it's a different animal.
It is. It's a little bit unique. So here's the format that we're going to follow. We've followed this every time, but we're going to do a 5-minute talk here just on the topic. Then we're going to do a 20-minute writing sprint where we work on our writing. Maybe you're in the writing, you're not in the revision stage. That's fine. Maybe you're in editing or something else. Wherever you're at, we just want to do a 20-minute writing sprint working on what we're writing. We're going to come back for a 5-minute break and have some discussion. We'll do another 20-minute writing sprint, and then we're going to do a Q&A and kind of wrap it up. So I'm glad that you're with us here in Massachusetts, I see. So awesome. Awesome. I have not been to Massachusetts. That's one of the states I haven't visited.
It's one of the few states we haven't been to.
Yep, and that's we got that on our bucket list. We got to hit all the states. Pretty close. We're getting close. So let's get kicked into tonight's topic a little bit. What is your biggest writing challenge? If you had
in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments. If you had to really define what's your biggest writing challenge, what would you say that is? Maybe it's the editing, maybe it's the outlining, your character development, show don't tell. We're just curious. We've talked about ours a little bit, going back and forth. What would you say your greatest writing challenge is, Ange?
I think my greatest writing challenge is probably editing.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I've had to really learn a lot about editing and grow a lot in that area.
Yeah, coffee, create, and connect. This is your last round. We'll see about that, because as you probably know, you get done and then there's always one more little thing to tweak.
And I think that you get to a place where you have to stop revising and you have to go, okay, it's enough. Enough is enough, because I've had stuff where I've looked at it and went, okay, I'm done. And then I look at it again and go, oh wait, but that could change. And
Yep. So you love the editing, all right, or that's the most difficult, I guess. You love the rough draft writing. That would be Angie. She loves the rough draft writing.
I love that part.
My process is a little different. We'll probably get into that tonight. But we're talking about revising. So what exactly is revising?
Well, it's part of self-editing where you re-examine what you've written to make it better. And it involves rewriting sentences, paragraphs, and chapters, and sometimes a lot more than that.
Sometimes the entire book. I've
Yes.
done that a couple of times. Angie's done that a couple of
Yes.
times. Have you got, you know, almost done with the book and decided this just isn't what it needs to be and scrapped it and started over? We've both done that.
I've scrapped 40,000 words and decided I didn't like where it went, and I started over.
Yeah, I scrapped 80. So, but it made it better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some examples in this revision stage that we've both got a couple of examples here. The first one is Angie's. Angie, go ahead and talk to us about this example.
Okay, so this is an example from the Electrical Saga, and this is book 1, The Uprising, and this is actually the very beginning of the book. This is basically is like the first thing I wrote, the first draft. And should I read it out loud?
Hurry, because we're almost out of time for our 5 minutes.
Okay, today is Adele's 16th birthday, but there won't be a party. Parties don't exist anymore. The world has come to a screeching halt as the EB virus sweeps the North American continent. Quarantine has added to the isolation felt by all those who are still alive. And why don't you skip to the next one, and then they can see what I revised it to. This was the revised version. This is actually what is going into the final. This is the very first bit of this book.
At least we think this is the final.
We think. Adele lay on the tattered couch, daydreaming about birthday cake and ice cream while the stench of death overwhelmed her senses. Clenching her eyes shut, she tried to imagine the party she would have had if the EB virus had not destroyed everything. A moan from the other room drew her back to the present. She slowly stood while taking a shallow breath of stale air and moved toward the soft sound with dread.
So you can see those are very different. So what you originally had compared to what you ended up with, that's the revision stage. And you have to be willing to kill your darling if you can, if you can say that.
You have to be willing to change anything and everything.
Yeah, I've got to love it enough to let it go sometimes.
You have to learn to look at what you've written with a critical eye.
Yeah.
And I'm even, I look at that and go, oh, I could change that. I could change that. You at some point, you got to stop changing things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So here's an example from mine. This is actually what I worked on in one of our lives here. And I was just, typing away. So this is rough draft, raw thoughts coming down on paper. Gabe was hunched forward with his head resting on the horse's neck. He swayed slightly with each step the horse took. It was difficult to tell if he was asleep or if the desert had overtaken him in the night. The brilliant orange streaks rose for the third time, and illuminated the desert. Another full day without water may prove to be too much for both man and beast. And this is what I revised it to. Gabe hunched forward and swayed slightly with each step the horse took. It was difficult to tell if he was asleep or if the desert had overtaken him in the night. This would be our third day under the sun and the second without water. So you can see in those revisions, they are quite different. And this is still a very much of a rough draft, my first and second thoughts at it. So in the revision stage, you're dumping out your original thoughts and then you're refining them. And the more you refine it, the better it gets. So let me ask you this. When do you begin revising your story?
We're at 10 minutes. We're going to hurry.
Okay. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and start our writing sprint because I'm going to talk a lot. So let's do this. Are you ready?
You ready? Go.
Writing sprint time. For the next 20 minutes, we're going to write and be productive. Do your editing or revising or wherever you're at with that. Yeah, I agree with, I'm not sure I'm going to say this right, but oh, none I can't say that. I'm sorry. I apologize. But revising is awesome when you go back and add foreshadowing and analogies and metaphors. I agree. Otherwise, you dread revising constantly because of the punctuation and all that
You're
grammatical
supposed to be
stuff. Oh
writing.
yeah, I'm writing.
You're
I'm writing.
disturbing my writing time.
I'm
Sorry.
writing. Remember to save frequently.
Saving. Yeah. That's important. Got 6 minutes. Clock's ticking down.
Shh. You're disturbing my writing. Hey, that's great. If you killed a mosquito, that's great, because that is so annoying. Little distractions. Well, we're about 20 seconds till we're
Hey, I
done.
got 20 seconds to finish my thought.
Hurry, finish your thought. And you got the kink out of your dialogue scene. That is awesome.
That's awesome. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of focus time and out of the norm to really get something shake loose.
Yep. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So that was our first writing sprint, and I did okay. How did you guys do? How was your writing sprint? Did you get a lot done? Obviously, getting a mosquito and a kink out of your dialogue is a-okay. That's key stuff right there, right?
Yes.
How did you do, Ange?
I did good. I did some. I'm in the revising stage, and so yeah, I got about 3 pages, but I got
Nice.
I think I added about 100 words, so that's success.
Yeah, when you're adding words in the revision stage, it's better than taking words away. I've
I've done a lot of that.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. Take out some
Like
stuff.
my example was this long, and my finish was this long. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes you got to do that.
Sometimes you do, but then you can add new stuff. It's good, keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know in the comments how your sprint went. 131 for Joshua. Good, good,
Nice
good.
job.
That's great. All right, so let's get kicked back into our topic here. Should we go back and finish our topic from before? We'll just wrap this one up real quick with this quick comment here. But when do you begin revising your story? Angie and I do this very differently, and I think that's okay. I think it's good that you figure out what works for you as a writer, because if you're always trying to fit into somebody else's writing mode, it can really stifle the creativity. So Angie, when do you write? When do you start the revision process?
Oh, I love doing a rough draft. I like getting through the whole rough draft and then going back and doing editing and revising after I've got the rough draft done.
And then how many times do you do revisions?
So
multiple times.
Multiple times.
So for me, I'm a little bit different because I'm constantly revising. So I will write a sentence or a paragraph or a little section, and then I'll stop. I'll go back over that, because for me, I have to make sure that it's where I want it to be before I can move forward. So I'm constantly in that revision stage. Then when I'm done for the day, I kind of move forward. Next day, I come back and work on it. I go back through that and I'll revise it again before I keep moving forward. Helps me keep in the stream and the flow of what I'm doing. But that's just how I write. And I know that lots of people say don't do that, but it really works for me. And then when I get to the end and it's time to do a big revision, it's actually a lot easier for me.
It's funny because you are much slower. You take your time and you think about all the words, and I'm like, get it out there, get the words on the paper. And even if I'm doing my rough draft and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure where I want this to go, I will actually put a big yellow highlight. And I know that if there's a big yellow highlight, that's telling me, okay, I wasn't quite ready to write that. I want to add to that. I'm not sure what I want to be there, but I know I need something there. And I'll just go back through and find the yellow. And then I'll go back and go, okay, what do I want to do there? Yeah.
Oh, too confusing for me. So Joshua, you do about 10 pages or so, and then you go back and revise. So you're kind of in between us in that process a little bit. I'm always constantly revising. So let's see, what do you look for during that revision stage? Is there specific things? There are specific things I look for. What do you guys look for when you start that revision? Do you go right after something? Maybe it's dialogue, or maybe it's show don't tell, or is there a character arc or something specific that you're really tuned into? Let us know in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you think about that. when you start your revision stage, I don't think that's the time to look for grammar and things like that. That's a different stage of editing, I think. I think the revision stage is way more on story and really making sure that what you're wanting to communicate is coming across.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about a few things that we talk or what I look for when I'm editing, and Angie does as well. So just as some examples, story structure, that's always something I'm focused on. The protagonist's internal conflict. I'm always, whenever I do any revision, whether it's while I'm writing or after I'm writing and I'm going back through it, I look for the protagonist's internal conflict. It's so huge. Yeah, Josh, he says he likes to see if it flows well. I look at the character arc, the external conflict, the things going on in the story to make sure they match with what's happening inside the character, the internal conflict, things like
Look
that.
for plot holes. When you're looking at story structure and all of these issues, you're looking for plot holes because you don't want plot holes in final product.
And then, of course, will this interest the reader? Sometimes things that interest me, they don't interest anybody else. So I have to really examine that. And that's where the brutal self-editing comes into play. I'm also looking for, is this going to hook the reader? Is it going to hold them? Am I really, holding interest? Showing versus telling. I'm looking at that because I can slip into that telling side pretty easily. And then dialogue. I work on dialogue constantly. That it's been a challenge for me to learn how to write dialogue well. So I'm always looking at that, practicing my dialogue. And then backstory, of course, you got to sprinkle that
Weave
in.
it in.
Weave it in. Angie just did a video on that. So putting the backstory in, sprinkling it in.
Sprinkle it in, weave it in, just a little bit of trickle. You don't want to flood them with backstory. You want to trickle the backstory.
Trickle the backstory. So are we ready for another writing sprint? Is it time?
It's time.
All right. 20 minutes. Let's see what we can get accomplished in the next 20 minutes. Then we'll come back, some final thoughts. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. We'll go over those. If you want to make comments or add your insight, we would love to have your insight. Community. Are you ready to go?
I'm just waiting for you to stop talking.
Oh, okay. All right. So 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Coffee, create, connect. You just made my day. That was hilarious.
Well, that is something that I would do as well.
Oh. 7 minutes.
Three and a half minutes. We're almost done with our sprint. 1 minute. Wrap up the thoughts. Hit save.
Okay.
All right, we're back. How did that writing sprint go? Was it productive for you? Did you get something accomplished? Really, I mean, that's what it boils down to. I think I got a couple of things accomplished. I made myself some really important notes that I'm going to come back to later. And sometimes I find that when I'm writing, I just have to stop what I'm doing and make myself notes about little things that I need to work on. What
Yeah.
about you, Ange? How did your sprint go?
It went good. I got several pages done, just on going through and looking at several spots that just needed to be revised and reworked. I got too many too many of the same phrase in that particular passage, and so I was rewording things and reworking things to make it so there wasn't as much repetitive phrases.
Ooh, those repetitive phrases are really annoying.
Yes.
And she loves the repetitive words. So that's always a challenge. We have our little challenges. So tell us how your writing went. Oh, only 86 words. Joshua, that's not a only. That's awesome. You got some words down.
86 words is better than none.
Yep. Yep. Sometimes, depending on where you're at in your story, it flows. And sometimes it's a struggle to get some words on there that really fit and are good. So good job on that. And let's see. Do you have any questions about revising your story? Now, sometimes they pop up at odd times, but I've had a couple of different times where I've been working on my story and I was just stuck because I wasn't sure how to do something, whether that should be a backstory in a conversation or if I should use more description. So if you have questions like that, let us know. I'm glad to talk about that kind of stuff. And then also, is there a topic that you would like to see a video about?
Yes, because I would love to hear from you guys. Is there a topic that you're curious about or something that you're struggling with? I would love to make a video that you're really interested in.
So we are, let's see, we're also curious, was the June writing challenge helpful for you? It was helpful for us. It was a new experience. This is the first time we've done a live event like this. And so actually this is our fourth time doing it every Tuesday in June. Was it helpful for you? Did it help
Should we do
focus
it
you?
again?
Yeah, should we do it again? And keep it going. It's up to you guys. If it's beneficial for you, then it's something that we would like to do. And if so, is there a particular theme that you would like to cover in our little conversations? Maybe dialogue or anything specific? We could hone in on that. Do some practicing together, bounce some things back and forth. What do you think, Ange?
Yeah, I would love to do this again, but I would, this has been really cool having all of you guys join us and having the chats and the conversation. It's been really cool.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys joining us for these and enjoyed the time that we've had together. Got a little bit of work done on the writing, but really liked the comments. interacting with you and kind of seeing where you're at in the
Joshua
process.
says, yes, it was my first time writing with anyone.
Nice, nice.
I love it.
Well, here's to you, Joshua. I don't have my coffee tonight. I have an energy drink, but I'll cheer to that.
One of the things that I've always fascinated me about writing is that it's such a solitary experience. Usually when we're writing, we're by ourselves. That's one of the things I've just really wanted to do lives and do live write with me's, because I think if you have a community and you can really encourage each other to write, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely do as well. So let's see. I'll pop this up for a second if I can jump over here real quick. Maybe I can't find it. Here we go. So we have a newsletter called The Creatives, and you can find that at smuinmedia.com. You can sign up for that. We go into a variety of other topics, share a little bit about the rest of our life, and I do have a continuing story, that kind of an episodic story there. So if you're interested in that or something like that, let us know. You can join that, be part of that. We do announce other stuff that we're doing in that newsletter as well.
Yeah.
So feel free to
make
join
sure you
that.
check it out.
Yeah. All right. So we wrap it up for tonight.
We do.
All right. So,
but we would love to hear from you. Send us messages. We would just love to continue the community.
Yep. So we'll see you next time, and maybe we'll work on putting another one of these together. Joshua, probably won't be the first couple of weeks in June or July because we're going to be gone.
There's a comment we could see. Oh, nonums. I really appreciate sharing your early works before revisions to see how they are useful jumping off points. Thank you for that. Yeah. It can be a really scary thing to share something that you've written.
Yeah, and we're sharing the good, the bad, the ugly on YouTube live. So no, it's great. So we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So thanks, everyone.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.